Blanchard looking great, giving the sign of the four horsemen, John. Everybody is standing here at the Concord Motor Speedway.
What an entrance from Tully Blanchard, and one of the, as they've said earlier, and everybody knows it is watching as a wrestling fan, there's no greater wrestler in his day than Tully Blanchard, and he is in incredible condition. He claims he's doing 400 squats. He's been in the gym, he's been working out, and he said on the radio yesterday that his goal was not only to take the title from Nature Boy Buddy Landelle, but to make him puke. He's going to work his butt off, and he's going to give the crowd everything that he has and show them that the old Horseman magic is not missing one iota after the last 8 years of his retirement. I believe the last time Tully Blanchard was in the ring was when he was at ECW. He had a few matches there and was pretty successful. And then he's been in retirement. He's been in the religious community. He's been working with prisoners. He's been working with high school teams. He's been trying to turn people onto the Lord, as he was turned in when he was brought back to WCW. And right now he has returned, not very far from his hometown, which he grew up in Texas, but he worked with his father, Joe Blanchard. That's how he came up, putting up rings. He's old school, and at one time, in my opinion, he was one of the top 5 wrestlers in the world, along with Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and Ole Anderson, the original Four Horsemen.
Nice riff there, John, and now we'll listen to the Nature Boy.
Well, I personally think after that tirade, Mike Tenay can eat his heart out.
Because I think that I can beat you. And I'm going to prove that tonight. That this is a non-title match. Is that all right with you?
And I have a feeling Buddy Landelle may be getting the wrestling lesson of his life.
I don't need to do an interview to wrestle you.
Always was. From the very moment Tully Blanchard was announced, oh, there he goes. Very quickly, he rolls up Buddy Landelle. 1, 2, almost a 3 count. Watch this Blanchard move. Watch him, John. I think that's the real magic, is the speed that Blanchard has.
I think the surprising thing about Tully Blanchard is he may not be the biggest man, he may not be the strongest man, but I tell you one thing, there is nobody that is more at home in a wrestling ring than that man. I have seen him in the Greensboro Coliseum during the heyday of the Four Horsemen go from the floor through the ring between the counts of 1 and 2 for a pinning combination. And I tell you, there's no greater, he's like a spider, an antelope or something. He's so quick, he has such balance. And I tell you what, he is truly in great shape. I hate to keep saying that, but it's really amazing to see a guy who's been on layoff for at least, 5, 7 years, and look at the condition he's in, and boy, he is really going after the Nature Boy, Buddy Landelle.
The Nature Boy, Buddy Landelle, once told me that he stepped foot in a gym one time. He didn't like the feeling, and he got out of there as quickly as he could.
Well, the last time we saw Tully Blanchard in a major organization was Smoky Mountain Wrestling, where he was a Smoky Mountain champion and was very successful at the very end of that career, wrestling with with Jimmy Cornette and the Rock and Roll Express. He was a babyface at that time, and then he kind of disappeared. He did go to the WWF for a short period of time, and I believe the last major match he had was in Knoxville against Shawn Michaels of the WWF. And Shawn Michaels did defeat Tully Blanchard. He did beat, Buddy Landelle at that time. But I went to that match in Knoxville. It was a tremendous match, very competitive. And if you stay in the ring with Shawn Michaels, I mean, that's saying something. And Buddy Landelle did do that, and it's proven that he is much more than a talker. He can do more than talk. He can take the wall.
He is a great talker, but he does back it up. And Tully Blanchard at the same time doing the same thing. Blanchard in his 40s and looks tremendous. Now the collar and elbow tie-up. And these two great pros, great NWA, WCW history. Blanchard, of course, very briefly in the World Wrestling Federation. And John, oh, wait a minute. You can see there is the fire in Tully Blanchard that has never died out.
I tell you, one thing that I always remembered is when Tully Blanchard first broke into the business, I believe his tag team partner was Gino Hernandez, the handsome half-breed. And his father, Joe Blanchard, ran a wrestling promotion. So Tully Blanchard basically was a guy who sold popcorn. He put up the ring. He sold. He worked for the promotion ever since he was a little kid. And it really shows when you watch him in the ring, because he is truly, he's truly a great scientific wrestler, and he knows how to play the head games. And it looks like he's trying to play that head game right now with Buddy Landelle.
And again from the collar and elbow tie-up into the headlock, and Landelle has got Blanchard flat on his back, and the referee kind of crawling in there to see if we've got a pin. I got to tell you, John, after this long hiatus, can you imagine the humiliation really for Tully Blanchard to end up losing the match?
Well, I'm not sure if this is a title match. Buddy Landelle earlier stated that he didn't feel like he was a title contender, which is pretty absurd, but you can see his point. He has been basically on the shelf for a long time, and it was his own decision. But right now, I tell you one thing we need to really applaud is Dave Ruth. Not only did he wasn't planning to be a referee tonight, but he came in here tonight, took over for the injured Tony Hunter, and on top of that, he was in the middle of that brawl with Abdullah the Butcher and Rick Link, and as you people have already seen, that was it was just a bloody mess, and he took many shots, and then once again he's proven he's professionally stayed in the ring.
And out comes Buddy Landelle. I think he's, again, the master of timing, and he wants to say, wait a minute.
You had enough yet.
What is Landelle talking about? Wait a minute. Has he had enough yet? I think Landelle has had enough. The beautiful trusses of the nature boy, Buddy Landelle. A dangerous man with a microphone.
I always said that you were the best of the four. And I gotta give it to you. But you ain't as good as me, boy.
Well, Landelle tried to be nice, I think, for a little while, and maybe has had enough when he realized that Tully Blanchard has not had any ring rust develop after that 8 or 9 year hiatus.
I tell you, he better have his wrestling boots on tonight, because I tell you, Tully Blanchard looks like he's all serious, and he's ready to really take Tully's ready to take him to the limit. And I tell you, like I said earlier, he wants to make him puke. He wants to humiliate Buddy Landelle, who's been in the business now, what do you figure, 15 years? Yeah. And he still continues to get out there and compete. But you're right. I don't think Tully Blanchard has ever looked better, and it's really a shock to me to see him in the shape and the condition he's in. And boy, does he have the fire.
Blanchard, a master of the head games, moves in and shakes Buddy Landelle's hand and then simply just backs right off.
I mean, when you talk about history, who can forget, the match with Magnum TA and the I Quit match? I mean, one of the most brutal matches I think that was NWA, ever put on. I mean, Tully Blanchard's been everywhere, done everything, and it's really great to see him back in the ring.
Now that side headlock, and Blanchard pushing from the chin up, control the head, and you control the body, a well-known strategy, and that's exactly what's happening. History being made here in New Dimension Wrestling, and now Tully Blanchard is again claiming that the nature boy Buddy Landelle pulled his hair. We saw it, we know it, and Dave Ruth, the referee, apparently the only one here at the Concord Motor Speedway who doesn't know it.
It's really a bad habit these referees have, where they seem to, unfortunately, not be able to see what goes on in the ring sometimes. But, that really is a tribute to the wrestlers, because they know how to do these things. They've been in the ring, they're veterans. They know how to hide things like hair pulls, pulling the tights, foreign objects. It's really amazing to see how they're able to get the attention of the referee and and do things that are questionable.
Great athletes, both of them, no doubt about it. And Buddy Landelle is keeping up with Tully Blanchard, and I guess we could say it as well. Tully Blanchard is keeping up with Buddy Landelle. Buddy Landelle, for the past 8 or 9 years, has been wrestling, John. For the past 8 or 9 years, Tully Blanchard basically has not been wrestling. Now it's Landelle outside the ring, throwing a chair in frustration. He's not looking very good now.
I think Buddy Landelle is, I'm glad he showed up tonight. He does have the nickname No-Show Bud Rowe, but I'm glad that those things are past. And he's now back in the ring and being a really active participant. He is the New Dimension Wrestling heavyweight champion, but I think he's a little bit perplexed over the fact that Tully Blanchard is not only in great shape, but he's giving him everything he wants and then some. It's really fascinating to watch Tully Blanchard starting to play mind games with one of the great mind game players of Buddy Landelle.
Landelle, a great mind game player inside and outside the ring. We are looking at hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of fans who have packed the bleachers here at the Concord Motor Speedway.
Isn't it amazing to think that Buddy Landelle, of all people, would be going out of the ring to break the pace of this match and get rest? Because I think he's really just startled over the competitiveness and the amazing conditioning of Tully Blanchard.
That's a very good point. There was some concern that ring rust would have developed, and Tully Blanchard looks to have not lost a step. And that's a real surprise, I think, because after all that time, and certainly you would understand that Tully Blanchard did need a little bit of time to kind of get back into shape. He's in shape. He's looking great, and he has taken it to the limit with the New Dimension Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
It is interesting to see how he's once again going back to the legs. He's done a few chain moves. He takes the man down. He works on him. He's trying to wear Buddy Landelle out, and I'm sure that this attack is probably a big shock for Buddy Landelle. But I tell you one thing, I can still remember the days of the Four Horsemen, along with Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, without a doubt one of the greatest tag teams of all time, as well as when they went to the WWF, and they were WWF champions too. So he's really, you're watching a legend, a real legend in this business, at work. And Buddy Landelle's truly paying the price.
There's some tag teams that have been tag team champions in the WWF and WCW both. Yes, there have, but certainly they are very limited. We think of the Road Warriors. I don't know how many others, John.
Well, I don't think you could talk about the tag team world without talking about the Road Warriors. You can't go any farther than mention the Midnight Express with Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton and Jim Cornette. You have to talk about the Freebirds, Michael Hayes, Buddy Roberts, and Bam Bam Terry Gordy. But I think you can put Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. You talk about guys that really knew how to play this game and knew how to pick their spots, guys that were tremendous athletes, took on all comers, and they were tag team champions many, many times over.
All right, Tully Blanchard now breaking the pace and the concentration of the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle, and Blanchard gingerly steps back in to the ring here in New Dimension Wrestling. Well, I don't know. Tully Blanchard shook the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle's hand before, and Landelle didn't pay for it, and now I think maybe some more head games from the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle.
It still looks like that these two men are trying to figure each other out. Tully Blanchard with a big knee to the midsection, going after Buddy Landelle. Reversal, coming off the ropes, hitting with a big right hand. Blanchard looks like he's in trouble. He's going to the ropes, and he bails out. Blanchard bails out to just catch a little wind. Smart move. A very big ring veteran move.
You see that happening all the time in any match with Tully Blanchard. Blanchard will go outside the ring and take as much time as he feels he needs, and when he wants to get back into the ring, he'll get back into the ring. Will he break it before it hits 10 so that he's not disqualified? Yes, he'll do that very easily.
Well, if you notice, that's the very first time Tully Blanchard's had to hit out of the ring, and it was after a really devastating punch in the midsection, but Buddy Landelle's already done that 2 or 3 times. So Tully Blanchard is proving that he can play that game too.
It's been a great night here, a really historic night for New Dimension Wrestling as we break through the barriers of independent wrestling and become a major force, a major scene throughout the Mid-Atlantic states, certainly throughout the East Coast as well. New Dimension Wrestling expanding. This is the first time that we have seen an independent show of this size, and it's New Dimension Wrestling that did it.
I tell you something else that's very deceptive. This is the very first time that New Dimension Wrestling has been in Concord, North Carolina, and they outdrew many, many other people who've tried to do this. And of course, a lot of it has to do with the amazing talent they were able to assemble. So really, our hats are off to Chris Plano and his people, because they did a tremendous job of getting this talent together, and all the fans here are reaping the benefits by a great night of wrestling.
Tully Blanchard showing a lot of the old fire that he had at one point. I didn't catch that, but whatever Buddy Landelle said, the fans didn't appreciate it. I think he's saying that it hurt. Well, welcome to wrestling.
I tell you one thing, if that's the first time he's been hurt, he probably never went out with a girl.
Okay, thanks. Once again, John, when you come back to Earth, we'll go back to you. Tully Blanchard and the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle tie up, and look at the speed of Tully Blanchard very quickly into a combination armbar and hammerlock, and Landelle wants out of the ring, and he is going to have that broken there by the referee, and he closes it, he breaks it, I beg your pardon, does Blanchard, at 4.
This match really seems to be a slow burner. Both men are still feeling themselves out. It's really amazing to see these two athletes. They've already gone over 10 minutes in this match. They still are feeling each other out, which is pretty exceptional. And I tell you, Lee, I find that very, very entertaining.
Thanks, Blacktail Bruce. Oh, nice arm drag there by Tully Blanchard. Lee who? Lee Iacocca? Who are you talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have been confused, Gordon.
Wow. That's stiff. All right, it's, as we said, kind of a fly speck, bug speck, but beautiful and muggy night here in Concord, North Carolina. The history being made is the return of Tully Blanchard to active wrestling at NDW.
If you look real closely, Tully Blanchard is really working over. He had a step-over arm bar on Buddy Landelle. That's a move that really wears down your opponent, and now he's continued to work on those on his arm. And it just goes to show that Tully Blanchard knows what he's doing. He's very patient. He was waiting for an open, and he's grabbed it.
All right, well past the 10, maybe even the 15-minute mark, John. I guess we weren't keeping track, but it has been an extraordinary night of wrestling here in New Dimension, and not a fan has left the area. I'm telling you, they knew what they were coming to see, and they saw it and got their money's worth, to say the least. And if they didn't see it here live, they'll get to be able to see it on television stations throughout the Carolinas, because they've all been here, and it's been a great night. And Buddy Landelle now hanging onto the ropes. He broke it, of course. You talk about a master of deception. Tully Blanchard is a master, but then again, so is Buddy Landelle.
Just got a head count, 1,638 people paid in attendance. And as Chris Cruz just said, it's really amazing that none of these fans have left, and it has been a jam-packed card. And now it looks like Buddy Landelle has turned the tide on Tully Blanchard, and he's now working towards the figure four, which is his finisher. He's got it locked.
Oh my God! Just that quickly, Tully Blanchard finds himself in the figure four of the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle, and does the only thing he could, and that is he grabbed for the rope. Smart move there by Tully Blanchard.
You know, it's a good thing that Dan Parrish didn't try to hit the ring, because I'm sure the security guards would have tried to hold him back.
Who in the hell are you talking about? Now Tully Blanchard making his way to the broadcast position. Boy, he looks great. Clearly winded. I mean, there's... Oh, look there. Oh, Tully Blanchard almost doing the leg dive. And he's got about 10 seconds to get into the ring. Will he do that? My guess is I don't think there's any question but that he wants to continue his battle with the Nature Boy, Buddy Landelle. Landelle has taken it to Blanchard. I think we've got to give him credit, John.
I don't think we can take anything away from the heart, determination of Buddy Landelle. But I tell you one thing, he's kind of turned the crowd against him. Oh, my goodness. Tully Blanchard took him down with a leg dive, and now he's working again on the leg. It's interesting that Tully Blanchard first worked on the shoulders. Now he's going to the legs. He's really just trying to slow down the Nature Boy, Buddy Landelle. You want to sit down?
Yeah, we've been on our feet, and I guess we're all saying, let's have a seat and kind of enjoy the action of these two tremendous wrestling professionals. John, you and I, in addition to having worked in the business, big fans, and I think fans of Landelle and certainly of Tully Blanchard.
I tell you, they're still working real hard on each other in the ring. Buddy Landelle's trying to break the... looks like he's got a toe hold, and it looks like he's breaking the toe hold, and he's trying to do a crossface and pulling over Tully Blanchard. But Blanchard's he's very determined. Doesn't look like he's going to let go. It's interesting to see a match that basically this match seems to be kind of an 80s match. It's very on the mat. It's very aggressive. They seem to be working each other, working all the body parts. They seem to be very aggressive towards each other. And the fans, interesting enough, there's not any moonsaults, there's no high-flying moves, but the fans seem to be really glued to the match. Off the ropes, Tully Blanchard catches him by the leg. Once again, return to the match. I don't think Buddy Landelle was really expecting this kind of attack, because, excuse me. Hand it over to Chris Plano.
Chris Cruz, we have hit the 16.5-minute mark of this match already. Buddy Landelle, I would say, is in there for the fight of his life. He came into this match, and I talked to him before the show. He thought this was going to be a quick 2-3 minute, out of shape, Tully Blanchard slipping in the ring. He has been training for the last 4 or 5 months for this match. Buddy Landelle, the title may not be on the line tonight, but has gotten everything and more from one of the original four horsemen, Tully Blanchard.
I mean, we knew certainly with it, your promise would be kept that we would see Tully Blanchard in action, but frankly, a lot of folks are wondering, would we see any of the old Tully Blanchard? We certainly have.
Yeah, oh, certainly, Chris Cruz. I mean, from people within the wrestling business and outside the wrestling business, fans were saying that this can never be pulled off. A show of this magnitude with all these stars cannot be pulled off. And other than Tony Atlas not being here, each and every wrestler that was advertised was here tonight. And we believe Craig Pinton was a suitable substitute for Tony Atlas in the ring tonight. And a great match with the one-man gang. Could an ECW-like match, but this match, classic NWA action we are seeing right here in the ring. You don't see it anywhere else. Right here, New Dimension Wrestling, Chris Cruz. We are hot, and we're happy to be here in Concord tonight.
And we're coming up now on the 20-minute mark here with the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle against Tully Blanchard. And Blanchard is clearly dominating here. And he goes, John, you know, you talked about working on the body part. That's exactly what he's doing, only he's changing body parts.
Well, now it looks like he's decided to go after Landelle's legs. He's trying to take one of the pins out from under him. Leg trip. And he looks like he's going into spinning toe hold into the figure 4. Oh, eye rake by Landelle. That was a very strategic move by Landelle, because if you think about it, if Blanchard could have rocked that on, he did have him towards the middle of the ring. It would have been difficult for Landelle to get out, and there could have been more damage done. But Landelle once again is crowing that it seems like he seems to think he has Tully Blanchard where he wants to, but Blanchard's a savvy veteran, and I believe, big right hand. Blanchard seems to be staggered. Another right hand by Landelle. Landelle really is the master of psychological warfare, but there's no greater player than Tully Blanchard as far as that's concerned. Blanchard seems to be a little dazed. Took a dive at Dave Ruth, the referee. Landelle's stretching out a hamstring. I guess Blanchard may have done a little bit more damage to that leg than we first thought. Blanchard seems to be in trouble, and the tide of the match is now turned to Buddy Landelle.
Well, I'm not sure what Blanchard was going for. It looked like he was going for the referee. Tuck it in, referee. Suck it up and drive on. Referee Dave Ruth stepping in for the injured Tony Hunter, and thank goodness for that. And now Blanchard, who just a few moments ago seemed to be right on the verge of defeating Buddy Landelle, the Nature Boy, with a figure 4 leg lock in the middle of the ring, almost is being defeated by Landelle at this moment.
You know, it's interesting that we've had to stand for this last match, but a lot of that has to do with the fact that Abdul the Butcher and Rick Link destroyed our table, our chairs, and basically our announcing position. But I think we'll be able to get through it right now. But right now, it looks like Buddy Landelle has really turned it on Tully Blanchard, and maybe Tully's beginning to wear down a little bit. But Landelle is dogged determined.
Expired in the match. 40 minutes remain. 20 minutes. You know, a lot of people think Jerry Lawler's the biggest mouth in wrestling, but I'd have to say it's John Hickson.
You know, it's amazing to me that there's so many peons running around here wanting to hit the big time, and it's really a shame that a guy like Bruce Mitchell with his credentials could not reach down deep and like give us a couple of minutes of his time. But no, as usual, he wants to be a spectator and not an observer.
Chris Cruz, I think these fans here in Concord tonight have gotten more than their money's worth tonight. The wrestlers wrestled to the 110% tonight, gave it their all. And Tully Blanchard in the ring, Buddy Landelle. We just passed the 20-minute mark. You won't see it anywhere else out here in New Dimension Wrestling. Cruz, what's your just take on the whole show overall from top to bottom?
I'll tell you, you know, in any show there are normally some high spots and low spots, but it's been kind of a constant high. And even what we thought was Craig the Pitbull Pittman against the one-man gang and maybe a clash of styles, I think turned into one of the best matches on the card.
Classic match. These guys took a brutal beating out there, both in and out of the ring, and fought to the finish. Abdul the Butcher and Rick Link, they were fighting on the Speedway tonight. This place is trash. It's just unbelievable here. A great night of wrestling here in Concord. This will go down as probably the best wrestling show the city of Concord, North Carolina has ever seen in its history of professional wrestling.
Well, that's a very good point. In fact, John, you had mentioned that a lot of promotions have been running in Concord for a long time, but none have had the success early on of New Dimension Wrestling.
Well, there was a reunion show put on by Sal Corrente at Kannapolis last year, which the problem was they didn't have half the talent, a lot of no-shows. But in this card, with the exception of Tony Atlas, Samba Simba, no-showing, everyone that was advertised was here. And as you can tell, the crowd has really enjoyed it. They've really been into it. And I tell you, it's really interesting match to watch Tully Blanchard now starting to turn the tide on Buddy Landelle.
Media from around the Carolinas, Virginias, and throughout the Mid-Atlantic have been here tonight, and now as Buddy Landelle, the Nature Boy, up against Tully Blanchard, approaching, I guess, the half-hour mark, and frankly, John, as what Chris Plano indicated, would probably be about Buddy Landelle said would probably be about a 5-minute match. At least that's what he speculated to Chris Plano. And Blanchard with a knee lift right to the gut, the big gut there of Buddy Landelle. I can't believe it, but we may be looking at a 1-hour-long match.
I think there is a chance that we may go time limit in this match because both these guys just don't seem to, one guy doesn't seem to be able to get a hold of the other and dominate for long. The match has ebbed and flowed back and forth. It's really fascinating to watch these two veterans go at it. And quite frankly, I didn't expect to see a match of this quality. I thought that this match would go maybe 10 minutes, Landelle being in better condition as far as, in-ring condition, would have a huge advantage on Blanchard. But as the matches continue, once again, Buddy Landelle goes to his finishing maneuver, the figure 4 lead lock, and Tully Blanchard looks like he's truly in trouble. He's talking to Dave Ruth. A 1 count. I think Blanchard for a second there just had his was absent-minded and had his shoulders up, but he's in considerable pain right now from the figure 4 Buddy Landelle, and I think the ref has just caught Landelle, who was grabbing the ropes for some leverage. I don't know why that works, but it does seem to work when they grab those ropes when they're in the figure 4.
You know, that's a very good point. You don't know why it works, but it does seem to work. I think I'll coach you on that. In fact, I think I'll steal that line. It's been we are running pretty much on empty. It's been a beautiful night, but a very long night here in Concord, and it looks like it's about to end as Tully Blanchard is in the figure 4 by the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle right in the middle of the ring, John. It's been a great fight by Tully Blanchard, but after that 8-9 year long layoff, it looks like that was not enough to come back and defeat the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle.
I tell you, it looks like Buddy Landelle has really opened up on Tully Blanchard, and the referee seems to be being pulled in by Tully. Tully looks like he's in a lot of pain.
Oh, okay.
And for some reason, the referee is in the mix. Both wrestlers have been pulling on him, but now Tully Blanchard is really putting it on and reversed the figure 4. What a last-ditch effort by Blanchard, who was in the figure 4 for a great deal of time and was able to reverse the hold on Landelle. Both men look spent. It's amazing that these two combatants have continued to go with the speed that they have, and Landelle looks like he's a little worse for wear, but it looks like Tully Blanchard's having some trouble with his legs. The figure 4 has really caused a great deal of damage, and he's begging down right now, and Landelle's not giving him any. Didn't ask any quarters, not giving any.
Well, that's a good point. It does appear that Landelle is finally taking over, as we have indicated so many times before. An 8, possibly 9-year-long hiatus since Tully Blanchard was wrestling on a fairly regular basis. Buddy Landelle, of course, in those 8 or 9 years, was wrestling on a regular basis. Very little ring rust, but still apparently some. And now Tully Blanchard looks spent. But wait a minute, just as we say that, he levels Landelle, at least tries to anyway. Oh, no. Now Landelle, whatever protection that afforded to that left knee of Tully Blanchard, it's gone.
You know, I think Landelle has really done his homework, because a lot of people don't know this, but Tully Blanchard at one time was a quarterback at West Texas State University. He was an option quarterback, and he's probably had some wear and tear on those knees through his collegiate career, and he's now pulled away his protection on his knees, and he's starting to work on it, which has already been worked on by the figure 4 at least twice in this match. So Landelle is he's like a bulldog out there. He will not give up, and he is really going after Blanchard. And but Blanchard has refused to give up. It's fascinating to watch these guys. Landelle now seems to be hot dogging a little bit, kicking up, taking a break, having an imaginary smoke. I think if Blanchard saw that, that would really rise his temperature up. And they continue to work each other over in the middle of the ring.
What Blanchard most needs now is the figure 4. Not the figure 4, obviously, placed on him, but he needs somehow to turn it around and place the figure 4 on the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle.
You know, I believe Landelle is really a lot smarter than we gave him credit for, because, as you know, the finishing maneuver of Tully Blanchard is the slingshot suplex, and with a bad wheel like that, it looks like it's going to be impossible for him to put his finishing hold, his finishing maneuver on Buddy Landelle. So Landelle has really proven to be quite a ring general and very scholarly. It looks like he's got him now.
He's got him now. I got him now. One of the most famous lines in wrestling. You got him now. And Landelle does appear, though, to have Tully Blanchard. Blanchard putting up a tremendous fight, but he has lost a wheel. Wait a minute. A left that had looks like a little bit of power into the gut there of Buddy Landelle. And an uppercut that straightens him right up. Wow. The question, though, for Blanchard is, can he come back? Can he use whatever strength he's got left in that left knee to defeat the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle? And increasingly, it appears less and less possible or probable that that would happen. A block there of the right. And look at this. An attempt at a suplex. Oh, no, he collapsed. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
He dropped him.
He collapsed.
He dropped him
right on him. Oh, my God. Well, that was...
You know, it looks like to me that Tully Blanchard went for the suplex like we were discussing earlier, and his knee gave out. And in doing so, he dropped Buddy Landelle right on his head. I mean, it looked like an old brain buster from Dick Murdoch, but it really wasn't intentional. It was almost like, it almost looked like he was almost a DDT the way he dropped him right on his the back of his head. And both guys have been devastated by this this maneuver. Two. Landelle lifts his shoulder to break the count. It looked like 1, 2. He lifts again. Landelle's definitely not out.
It's been an exciting night here in Concord, North Carolina, and it may be getting ready to wrap up. It looks like they're trading pins left and right. And Chris, as we said before, a truly historic night, and our congratulations to you.
Well, Chris Cruz, thank you very much. We've just hit the 28 minutes mark of this classic main event matchup between Tully Blanchard, one of the original four horsemen, the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle, have gone toe-to-toe, fist-to-fist, kick to kick. It's unbelievable. These two have fought, battered. They are bloodied, not bloodied and battered, but at least bruised and battered, I should say, in that ring. And Tully Blanchard, without a doubt, looks like he's in the best wrestling shape of his career as it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's been, I think it's that Blanchard, while suffering from the layoff, has also been able to bring it back, and he's brought it back.
There was a lot of question on Tully's strength conditioning and as well as physical conditioning in this matchup, of him going to stand the time, if he can even go past the 10-minute mark. There was much speculation for a while now.
Oh, wait a minute, he got the pin! Blanchard has defeated the Nature Boy Buddy Landelle.
Small package. Blanchard with the small package with a 1, 2, 3, and the victory over Buddy Landelle.
He whipped him like a dog.
Thank you, David Crockett. That was excellent. But I think that's a big shock, and the crowd seems to be solidly behind Blanchard, but it looks like Landelle is now going to seek out some revenge on Blanchard, going into the figure 4, grabbing the ropes. Ring that bell. This match is over. And what an amazing comeback. It looked like Tully Blanchard was dead on his feet. It looked like Landelle was going to go for the finisher, and then a small package. Once again, it's almost like the Greco-Roman, the small package, out of nowhere for the 3 count. That was not a title match, unfortunately. But Landelle now has a victory over the current New Dimension Wrestling Championship title holder, Buddy Landelle.
Well, it's been a great night, and Landelle has leveled the referee. I'm Chris Cruz. For all of us here at New Dimension Wrestling, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon, we're sure. It's New Dimension Wrestling. I'm Chris Cruz, and we're back to action. I thought that was the end of it, and Tully Blanchard has just chopped the stuffing out of the nature boy, Buddy Landelle. Blanchard, for that, I guess, that long hiatus, he wanted some more action, and give him credit. The nature.